The Sierra Nevada mountains can be a magical place in the wintertime. We often hear people talk about getting away from the cold and heading to warmer places this time of year. But if I'm being really honest, some of our best memories have been made during this season right here in our own backyard. Interesting situation here. I'm not sure, but I think my rotopack is frozen solid like a block of ice. So if that's frozen solid like a block of ice, I'm gonna have to go scoop up some snow to make some coffee. What you got, Cooper, what you got? You got a stick? You got a stick, buddy? Huh? You got a stick? Yeah? Where's Kyla? What's she got? She's gonna get you, Cooper. She's gonna get you. It stayed about 66 to 68 in the tent, depending on how high the diesel heater ran, and we only used about 2/3 of a tank of diesel, so not too bad. Get a little morning fire going and make a little coffee. Cooper, what are you doing, buddy? Look at her go. Turns out it was probably somewhere around 25 or less last night.
A little icy.
Dog water's a little frozen. Oh well. We're slowly but surely just kind of folding things up, putting things away as we go. Dogs are playing while the fire burns. Enjoy a nice brisk morning. It's pretty awesome out. Bluebird sky day for sure, man. It's beautiful. I was hoping the forecast would work out this way. Again, I thought we were going to be getting dumped on with snow on the way up, and then last night too was the expectation, and then wake up to a nice bluebird sky. But you know what? We got the bluebird sky, and that's pretty cool. So, pretty stoked. Yeah, man, I think winter camping's going to work out really good with the setup we have. I don't know. Let's ask Noelle. Do you think winter camping's going to work out with the setup we have, or what do we need to fix? What things do we need to improve still?
Get a heated blanket for the dogs.
Okay.
A 3-inch heater hose so it fits in the tent easily.
Yep.
Other than that, I think we're good.
Worked out pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not too shabby. That was pretty cool.
Maybe put a catheter in you.
I know, I had to pee twice last night. Good puppy. This campsite is always awesome, but it was time to pack up and see if we could find some deep snow. We're going to be climbing an elevation today, trying to make our way to the gate for the snowmobile park. This old YJ had seen better days. Frankly, it was a real shame to see it in this condition. I'm guessing it was probably stolen and abandoned here. Yep, that's the tree we had to move yesterday. If you guys enjoy the content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us keep the content coming. So this is another one of our little secret spots that we kind of found some time ago. It's a cool spot, but it's not quite as far up off the road as the other spot. But it's still a pretty good one. Nice and flat, big area. You see there is a fire pit here, but I'm seeing something here, almost like a tag that says maybe no fires or something. Let's take a look at this. Oh, no, that is, oh, yep, no campfires here. So they definitely don't want you camping, at least with campfires right here in this spot. That's new. Looks like they spotted the fire ring and probably said, hey, no fires allowed in this area. And I'm really not surprised. I mean, you guys have seen a lot of the burn scar that we're driving through right now. And there's been a lot of fires up in this area, of course, the Sierras. And so I think they're really clamping down on some of that stuff and trying to prevent it. But yeah, this is a really cool spot too. Let the dogs out for a sec to run around. They never get enough of it. It's time to air down. We're heading for deeper snow. I'm a pretty big fan of these new Apex valves. Alright, so you guys will notice I only aired down to like 12 psi there, and I know it's snow, but the snow isn't really that deep. Whoa, big chunks of snow falling out of the trees. And we're not really trying to float on top of the snow here so much right now. We're just trying to give our tires some compliance and improve our traction a little bit. So if the snow does get deep, as we head up the mountain here, we'll air down even more. We'll go from 12 maybe to 6, and then if things get really sketchy, we'll air down even maybe to 3 psi or something like that if we have to, if things get a little tough. Caldor Fire burned more than 220,000 acres in the Dorado National Forest and other areas of the Sierra Nevada. The fire destroyed more than 1,000 structures, primarily along Highway 50 corridor and in the community of Grizzly Flat, 2/3 of which was destroyed by the fire. It was the second fire to cross the Sierra Nevada mountain range that year, following the Dixie Fire, which crossed a few days earlier. It then threatened the communities of Myers and South Lake Tahoe, causing the evacuation of more than 20,000 people. This was the third largest and second most destructive fire of the 2021 season in California, and the 7th largest in recorded California history. The U.S. Forest Service determined that the fire was caused by a stray bullet. I wish I could show you how beautiful this was before the fire. It likely won't grow back in my lifetime. we were spinning a little bit, so I went ahead and went down to 6 psi here and see how this does. Snow's definitely getting deeper. We're not plowing yet, but I think we've got about another 600 feet of elevation to climb to get all the way up to the top, if that's where we go. Oh yeah, it's already better. It's amazing. And here's the key is, I'm on a mud terrain tire. It's not ideal for these types of conditions, right? For snow. It's that you really want to pack the tread with snow. And unfortunately, a mud terrain tire tries to eject everything, right? And so the tire doesn't pack real well with snow unless the conditions are really perfect, you know? And they're pretty good today. Temperature's a little warm. It's 37 degrees, so the snow's getting a little wet and not really ideal, but yeah, we're making progress. We'll see how it goes.
The snow is deep enough now that it's getting hard to tell exactly where the trail is. Up here, the snow will blow in drifts that can get pretty deep. In my experience, 6 psi can help, but I've got the Jeep pretty loaded up, so it's not going to be low enough to stay on top of the snow unless the snow is packing really well.
So here you can see the snow is actually starting to pack in the tires a little bit. So we're getting to an elevation where things are a little drier. It might actually get better for us, we'll see. All right, well, I'm not gonna give up yet, but let me show you guys what we got. Snow got pretty deep. We're clearly dragging our differentials and axles through the snow here, as you can see. And we're on a pretty steep hill. So yeah, we're sucked in there pretty good. But the snow is good snow. As you can see, even with the mud terrain tire, it's starting to stick a little in there. So to give you an idea of what really becomes a challenge is we're actually plowing, as you can see. So we're plowing the snow forward as we go. And in doing that, as you can imagine, you can see it stacking up in there pretty good. You know, we're pushing snow, and the key is if we can get these tires down enough to where we can climb on top of the snow, we won't plow as much, and that'll really help. So I think what I'm gonna do is try and come all the way down to 3 psi. And it's a battle, because as you come down in pressure, that also lowers your differentials a little bit, but it also gives you potentially a better footprint. I'm at 6 right now. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. And if we can get to the top of this hill, it gets deeper as we go. We're still got about 600 feet to climb. So we may...
About 200.
Oh, 200 left. So 200, we're getting close to the top. 200 feet of elevation. But it gets drifty up here. The snow drifts a lot, and there's been a lot of wind. So I'm gonna try airing down to 3 psi, see what that does for us. All right, guys. What do you think? You think 3 psi might be the magic number? Oh, it's climbing up. It's trying.
Might get there at nighttime.
Might be dark by the time we get to the summit. It's going. Tell you what, it's amazing what the difference is between 6 psi and 3 psi is. And we may still not make it, but we're out here alone, and so I don't dare go below 3 psi out here. If we were with a group, we could push it and do some fun, crazy stuff, but as it is right now, I don't want to push it too hard. We are making some progress.
This section of the trail is getting really steep, so maintaining forward momentum is getting pretty tough. Once the tires sink in and start to spin, you have to stop so you don't start digging and get high-centered. Then back up, reset, and try to climb up out of your tracks to one side while packing the snow. As you can see here, success can be really short-lived, making only small bits of progress at a time. You just have to be patient and be prepared to settle in for a long day. At this point, I'm using a combination of two techniques. In really steep sections, the only thing that really works is getting a running start in 4 high and using momentum to gain small bits of progress. But sometimes, the progress is only 1 car length at a time, and the transmission temps can really start to climb. Second technique is when I can crawl in 4 low with the lockers on. It keeps the engine and trans temperatures nice and low, but there's very little to no momentum to keep you moving forward. You just have to get a feel for the conditions. We've reached an elevation where the snow is about 3 feet deep, if you can avoid the deep drifts. But you can see how 3 psi can give you a footprint that helps pack the snow and allow the Jeep to climb up on top in sections that aren't too steep. We've reached the top of that steep section, and we have a bit of a reprieve. Now, we're about to discover just how deep and challenging the snow will get. That, my friends, is our destination. But as you can see, this is incredibly slow going. We just spent 30 minutes going about half a mile, and it's not going to get any easier. And that gives you an idea of just how deep the snow is here. We are on an extremely off-camber section because the snowdrift is so deep. It's now completely impossible to tell where the trail is, aside from looking at our GPS point on Onyx Off-Road. We're still sitting at 3 psi, allowing us to ride as high as possible on the snow, but I'm starting to feel the weight in the back of the Jeep drag us sideways down the snowdrift. This is a legit struggle as we make progress up the mountain in tiny chunks. And it's a pretty fine line between making progress and getting completely high-centered and stuck. So I'm really careful not to spin the tires here, and I always back up in my own tracks where the snow is already packed.
in typical fashion, we're pushing our luck. We always do. But as we came around this corner over here, we could actually see the summit up there, and that's where the MET, the trail hits the MET. But it is a really steep climb up there, and as you can see, we're buried in it right now, digging some pretty deep tracks. And in this area, unfortunately, because the snow drifts like this, you can't really tell where the road is. You don't know if you're on the road or if it drifted off and made a false, like, you know, area that you could sink down into. So you're trying to stay on the road. We're gonna split a couple trees here, and it gets to a steep climb on the other side over here, and the road will come around up that way. But man, we're so close, I can feel it. Don't want to give up right here, but we're making progress, and it's only like noon, and it's a beautiful day. So, and of course, this is kind of what it's all about. These guys, they're so funny. I love this stuff. I'm so glad we camped up here last night. It really works out good if you can get up here the night before. I mean, we had a really big storm clear that blew through yesterday right before we headed up. This is probably one of the biggest storms we've had all year. So it dumped a fair amount of snow here, and we're almost at 7,000 feet. We're at about 60, 68 something. We've got a little over 100 feet, I think. No, it's more than 100 feet. It looks like more than 100 feet. I don't know. We got a little ways to go, but I got to get back in the car before I get sunburned out here, man. The sun is cooking.
We are almost to the end of the trail, and it would be a major accomplishment to make it all the way to the summit today. This is getting really off camber.
All right, well, we've come a long ways, and we're at this last section, but it is really off camber because of the drift. I don't know if you guys can tell how off camber that is, and no matter what I do, I'm sliding down the hill that way.
That dark colored band is actually an ice ledge under the snow.
And you can see the balls, snowballs, as stuff falls down that way. It just wants to roll all the way down the hill. So it's very slippery. It's late in the day, so the snow's starting to get kind of wet. And I've got to get all the way around this corner right here. And it's off camber pretty far. It looks like I'm gonna walk it and see.
We are literally less than 260 yards from the finish line.
Yeah, I think we are turning around, kids. That is super off camber. I can't make it through that. And you can see over here what I'd have to get through. So this is about as disappointing as it gets, guys. We're only about 700 feet from the finish line. And I just don't see a way. You know what's worse than not making it to the top of the mountain? It's having your camera take a crap on you right at the climax of your story. This was the part of the story when I was going to show you guys how we had made it around 2 canyons on our way here. And back around that bend, it hooks around again. And over those through those 2 canyons right there, how the Jeep was trying to slide sideways down the hill. The rear end would just slide down the hill. How much fun we had trying just to get up there. It was a lot of fun trying. How I didn't want to disappoint you guys. Yeah, I don't think it's in the cards today, fellas. I really didn't want to disappoint you guys, but I wanted to show you how the hot sun was melting the snow, potentially making things more treacherous. That sun melting the snow, even the way back, could be treacherous given what we just came through. I was going to show you on video just how flat the tires were at 3 psi. Tires are down to 3 psi, they're basically flat. How I almost slipped on my ass trying to walk on that icy section. Yeah, I just could not get any traction right here. Well, as you can see, it's slippery even to walk on. Wanted to show you how I really didn't want to roll down that hill. Yeah, that would send us rolling down ass over tea kettle here. How I was actually getting sunburnt. Put Noel's hat on because I think I was starting to get sunburnt. GoPro, you really let me down. I think it's time to spend some money on a real camera. Man, that's a bummer. Okay guys, so I think you saw we were just turning around. It's so funny. We're up there kind of coming back, turning around, and we hear this whistling and yelling, and we look up and it's our friend Danny and Kendall. Man, I can't believe they were up there. They took MET up. I guess he was texting us yesterday, but as you saw, we were camping. We didn't have any signal. Bummer, Danny. I'm so bummed we didn't get to hang out with you today, but yeah, they came up along the MET to get up this way, and we're dummies. We took the hard way, but we were camped on Silver Fork, so.
Yeah, but this is half the fun.
This is half the fun.
Breaking trail.
Yeah, breaking trail is fun. So yeah, that's, oh boy, I dug some trenches in there. So that's, you can see how deep kind of the tracks are down to the packed snow that we packed down with the tires. And it's all powder on top of that, obviously, because it's all snow drift back in here, blowing off the north face. These are all north-facing slopes right in here that we're kind of cruising around, so they get a lot of drift and a lot of powder on them. But yeah, I mean, it was a tough go today, getting this far. This is why I want 40-inch tires. It'd be nice to have a set of 40s to make this a little bit easier. But yeah, you can see right here. You can see right here where the diff was dragging. So yeah, we were plowing a lot of snow today, but it was so fun. It took us a while to get out this way, and we're pretty far away from Highway 50 now. But we'll just go ahead and make our way back down there and enjoy the scenery on the way out. It's pretty cool. And the puppies are chilling, but they're so covered in snowballs from running around in the snow, they're probably gonna be soaking wet.
Our tracks here show how many times we had to back up just to get around this corner.
Sure is a lot faster going back down the mountain in your own tracks, that's for sure. All right, so we're back down to an elevation where the snow's not very deep at all, but as you can see, my tires are pretty flat. So I don't want to be running the tires this flat at any real speed at all, because that will really damage the sidewall of the tire. And the rule of thumb is usually, and I violate this, so do as I say, not as I do, but it's usually double, your speed could be double the pressure you have in your tire. So if you have 20 PSI in your tire, 40 PSI is safe, right? That's the rule of thumb. Hats off to Method bead grips, man. We did this a lot last year too, and we don't have bead locks, but we do pretty good. Oh well. Patagonias, man, they've been good to me. This is my second set, and I know they're not the best snow tire. In fact, you know what? Maybe we could have done better today on a different set of tires. Up at the top, the snow was packing in the tread pretty good, so I kind of doubt that, but these are not a great snow tire, guys. In deep snow, the Patagonia is not your friend. Something more with an AT tread pattern is probably better.
If you're still watching, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We hope you enjoyed this little weekend getaway. We sure did, and we've got a lot more adventures planned. Be sure to get out there and enjoy the outdoors, and we'll see you next time on Golden's Gone Wheelin'.